worst case scenario, you get a vocal injury, which is what happened to me. I was diagnosed with vocal nodules a couple years ago because I was prioritizing hitting high notes and belting my face off and not releasing tension in order to do those things. I didn't really care what it took to reach those notes. I was like, well, I can hit the note if I am really pushing and straining, but at least I can hit the note, and that's all that matters. Hey Voxstar, and welcome to From Singer to Artist. I'm Laura Chapman, award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach and the host of this show. At VoxTape Studios, we help singers from all over the world level up their voices by teaching them the 3 fundamental skills all singers need: technique, awareness, and artistry. Whether you're looking to go pro or just develop your voice for fun, my team and I are here to help. Check the link in the description to book your first session or grab some of our other resources. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's get started. If you are somebody who wants to work on their voice, there is probably a 98% chance or 99.99999% chance that you want to work on improving your vocal skills, meaning expanding your range, belting higher, riffing faster, having the most beautiful natural vibrato, like whatever it is, right? Those are skills that we are acquiring as singers and skills that we are improving as singers to, deliver a quote unquote better vocal performance. If we want to do all of these things, there's a lot of different techniques and exercises that we are learning. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff matters if we don't focus on releasing tension first. And that's what I want to talk about here today, because it is the foundation of all good singing. Effortless singing is the foundation of all good singing, and effortless singing starts with tension-free singing. So today we're going to look at what are some of the symptoms of tension so that you can know if you have tension, where you can hold tension, and what to do to release it, including a little exercise for you as well. So let's start with symptoms of tension. Well, it is pretty likely that you have some sort of tension somewhere in your body. But some of the symptoms include having a small range, feeling like your voice is stuck in your throat, not being able to produce a vibrato or not having control over it. Riffing might be really difficult for you to do because your voice feels a little stiff and it can't move quickly. Maybe it's difficult for you to control your volume. It's either like really loud or really soft, but there's like no in between, which is what makes mixed voice difficult for you to do, that finding that in between spot. Just things like that. You get tired quickly from singing, you get hoarse, you blow out your voice. Those are all symptoms of tension. And like I said, a lot of us singers struggle with tension in one way or another. Some people a little bit more, others a little bit less. Now, what happens if you don't release tension? Well, worst case scenario, you get a vocal injury, which is what happened to me. I was diagnosed with vocal nodules a couple years ago because I was prioritizing hitting high notes and belting my face off and not releasing tension in order to do those things. I didn't really care what it took to reach those notes. I was like, well, I can hit the note if I am really pushing and straining, but at least I can hit the note, and that's all that matters. And so I ended up with a vocal injury. That is the worst case scenario. And obviously I don't want that to happen to you. And there's other things that go into ending up with a vocal injury besides tension. But tension is kind of like that first thing that leads to this. So I don't want to scare you and be like, oh my God, I'm going to end up with a vocal injury, with vocal nodules if I don't do this. Like, no, only if you do it over and over and over and over and over and over again and you have a lot of tension. But that could be the worst case scenario, and we definitely don't want to end up there. Other things are just really struggling with expanding your skill set, expanding your range, getting higher in your belt, controlling the volume of your voice, riffing freely. Like all those things will be difficult for you to do as long as there is tension. So releasing this tension is really difficult to do. Alrighty, so now let's look at how we can actually release tension. Where can you hold tension? The three most common areas are your jaw, your tongue, and your neck. There are others like your constrictor muscles. Those would be the muscles that we use to swallow. There's like three parts to the constrictor muscles, and they engage one by one to help us swallow food and, whatever it is that we're swallowing, like water. And so the constrictor muscles is another one, and just overall tension in your body. So like facial tension is something that I want to talk about today as well, because it's quite common, and I personally feel a huge difference when I'm focusing on relaxing my face. And so facial tension is something we're going to talk about as well. And just tension overall in your body, like if you're feeling a little stiff in your back or in your hamstrings or anything like that, that's tension as well. That doesn't affect your singing as much, but it's still, something that you want to stretch those muscles out. So we're not going to talk about, tension in your body just as much today, or even the constrictor muscles. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit, but we're going to mostly focus on the jaw, the tongue, and the neck, as well as your facial muscles and mental tension. We're going to talk about that at the end. But let's start with the jaw. So with your jaw, what can happen, like what it looks like, what tension in your jaw could look like, is not opening your mouth enough. So if you're singing, and oh my God, that's so hard to sing because I'm not opening up. And it's a lot easier to do if I'm opening up my mouth. Now, I do want to say that more open is not always better. A lot of times, especially for powerhouse singers like me, we have more power than we know what to do with, and that can sometimes be a little bit of a problem. For those kinds of singers, if we open the mouth too much, then it gets really difficult for us to control our volume, and it can get a little bit pushed and forced. So more open isn't always better, but jaw tension usually looks like we're not opening up enough and we're just kind of like locking the jaw into place, like what I'm doing right now. And it feels really unnatural for me to speak like this. But if you have a lot of jaw tension and you do not, you've never worked on releasing your jaw, that might be how you're talking. And so if you're talking like this, oh my goodness, good luck with singing, right? So we definitely need to focus on releasing the jaw. Another visual cue that you can pay attention to when it comes to the jaw is jaw thrust. So if I'm turning sideways, what that would look like is moving your jaw, or like pushing your jaw forward like this. All right. So I'm pushing my jaw actively forward. Now there are certain times where that can actually help you just create a little bit more space and get the note out a little bit more easily, but it's something we actively want to do and not passively, meaning I am aware that that is what I am doing and it's serving me in this very specific case, and not like I didn't even know that I'm doing this and I'm doing it all the time, because then it's usually holding you back, okay? Also sideways, right? Like kind of like, and going sideways with your jaw rather than, and straight down, right? So moving the jaw sideways is another visual cue for jaw tension. As far as sound goes, when it comes to jaw tension, it can sound almost like okay, let me restart that. For the sound, if you don't have a lot of jaw tension, then it doesn't really change the sound that much. The more jaw tension you have, the more it changes the tone of your voice. So for me, how I would describe it is it almost feels like there's like a filter on top of your voice, or it feels like the voice is not coming out as much as it could, right? Like going back to, and I will always, it's like not really coming out compared to, and now it feels more free, more like just coming out. Now that is not just jaw tension, but jaw tension kind of leans into that, where it's like, it sounds like you're holding back and it's not quite coming out as much as it could. So for jaw tension, we mostly focus on visuals, visual cues, right? Like, are you you're thrusting your jaw forward or sideways, or are you opening up enough? And just how it feels, like how does your jaw and your voice feel when you are singing, rather than audible cues. But we can obviously pay attention to that as well. So what can we do to release jaw tension? And I would recommend that you play with this together here with me right now, even if you don't think you have a lot of jaw tension or any jaw tension, because you never know. You might have some. It's also different from day to day. Some days I have more tension in my jaw. Other days I have more tension in my tongue or in my neck. It really just kind of depends. So I would recommend that you play around with me here either way, just to get a feel for it. Do you feel a difference before and after? Yes or no? And so that you still have the tools in case you run into jaw tension at some point. So what we're going to do, one of my favorite things, is just taking the knuckles, your fists, and push them in between your cheekbone up here and your jawbone down here, close to your ears, as close to your ears as you can. Not like up here by your cheeks, but more back by your ears, okay? So if I am just pushing in here, I'm somebody who has jaw tension. If I'm just pushing in here, I can feel a little bit of pain. But pain in the sense of like a massage where it hurts, but it also feels good, you know? And so if you're feeling that, then you probably have a little bit of a tight jaw. So you can just go ahead and push in here. While you drop your jaw open, you can massage in circles as well. I do recommend that you're using your entire fists and not just fingers, because I don't want you to like start digging into any holes and, accidentally hurt yourself. So it's better to just use your knuckles so that, we don't run the chances of like messing something up. So it's important that you're really digging in here and really massaging and not just kind of like rubbing, right? But like really digging in and massaging the masseter muscle. That's the name of this muscle that's responsible for chewing, right? Like opening and closing your mouth. So right here, I'm just massaging here. If we look at singing, while like I want to figure out what can I do while singing to work on my jaw tension, I would do exactly the same thing. Just push in here. I prefer not doing massaging as I'm singing and just pushing in, but it's your choice if you want to do some sort of movement here with your hands, or if you just want to dig in and stay still. It's your choice. But what I would do first is just sigh. While pushing in and seeing what that feels like, okay? Then I want to take it a step further. La 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 la. One more time. La 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 la. So with that, when I'm doing these la 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 la's, I want to keep my jaw still and only move my tongue on the inside. Your jaw and your tongue are like BFFs, best friends forever. And they want to move together at all times. We need to learn to separate the jaw from the tongue. And so if we're doing this while pushing in here, la 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 la, focus on your jaw and keep that as still as possible so that only your tongue is moving on the inside, as a little bit of a jaw and tongue separation exercise. Another exercise you can do to separate your jaw from your tongue is the kana exercise. So kana, 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 kana. 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 And so forth, right? So I'm not moving my jaw, kana, 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 kana. I'm only moving my tongue on the inside. And you kind of have to find that sweet spot of how open your mouth is to not have to move your jaw, right? If I'm over opening, then I have to move my jaw to get that end sound. Kana, 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 and that defeats the purpose. So it's like somewhere in the middle. Kana, 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 kana. I like to take just my index finger and hold my, or like not even hold my jaw, but just put my index finger on my jaw so that I can bring awareness to it and feel if I'm moving it or not. Alternatively, you can also look in the mirror and see, are you moving your jaw? Yes or no? And so anyway, so that's what you can do to separate your jaw from your tongue. But going back to jaw, what we can do in a song. So if I am looking at, well, let's just keep going with that Whitney Houston exercise. And actually, that's not a great example because there's not a lot of lyrics. Let's look at a different example. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. Let's look at that example. So what I want to do first is drop the lyrics and just sing it on la 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 while pushing in with my knuckles into that masseter muscle, right, by my jaw, underneath my cheekbones. So I'm just gonna do this on la la la. La 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 la, and so forth, right? So I'm focusing on keeping my jaw still and just pushing in with my fists. I would do this over and over and over again until I'm like, okay, now it feels effortless. Now it feels good for me to hit these notes. It doesn't feel like I'm working so hard anymore. And when I get to that spot, like that kind of feel, I bring the lyrics back in, but I'm still holding here with my knuckles, right? Never mind, I'll find someone like you. And now here, of course, your jaw is moving because you're articulating different words. And depending on the word that you're saying, your jaw is going to move, right? It's just like when you're speaking, you can see how your jaw is moving as well. So, let your jaw move, but still push into that masseter muscle to make sure it doesn't get super tight and tense. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to do. It makes a huge, huge, huge difference in, pretty much most of the singers I've worked with in my career as a vocal coach and for myself too. So pushing into that masseter muscle here on the side between your cheekbone and your jawbone close to your ears. Another thing you can do is push underneath your earlobe, like right behind that, the bone of your jaw, where your jaw has like that corner in it, like almost like that 90-degree angle, just like pushing in right there. Yeah, definitely feel that. And just like dragging your fingers down the side of your jawbone around that corner. That can feel really good as well to just release that tension that you might be feeling there in your jaw. If you're feeling any discomfort in your ears, that's probably where the tension is coming from. Like that's what gives you that feeling because this muscle down here is a little tight. If you have extreme jaw tension, which I sometimes do when I am really stressed, you can feel you're clenching your teeth in your sleep. Right? Like I have that bad habit where if I'm getting really stressed, I'm clenching my teeth in my sleep. And then that clenching motion basically transfers all of the tension even all the way up into the temples up here on that little ditch. Ditch is the wrong word, but it's all I can think of right now. That like little, ditch. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here, but just pushing in here into your temples and massaging up here, like just kind of like moving around your fingers a little bit to feel where exactly is the spot. Oh, there it is. Oh, here, feeling it right here on my right side. It's also totally normal if you're feeling more tension on one side than another. That's very normal. Just, keep massaging, deal with it. And it'll get better at more symmetrical eventually. But yeah, so up here in your temples, if your jaw tension is really bad, you can even feel it all the way up here. For me, it's pretty okay today, but some days it's like, oh my God, it even hurts when I'm not pushing in. And then that's super extra bad. So it's going to be a little bit different from day to day and obviously also from person to person. So that's what you can do for your jaw. Moving on to your tongue, I had to go get a couple props for this. You don't have to, but I just wanted to show you a couple different ways that you can release tongue tension. But before we look at how to release tongue tension, let's look at some indicators that you might have tongue tension. Unlike jaw tension, tongue tension has a very typical sound. It's that Kermit the Frog or Shakira sound. That whenever we're meant to be together, I'll be there and you'll be here. And that kind of sound right there compared to whenever we're meant to be together, I'll be there and you'll be, and so forth, right? So that obviously sounds very different. And the only thing I changed was my tongue. And so if you have Shakira undertones or Kermit the Frog undertones, pretty good indicator that there's some tongue tension happening here. My dad actually, as a kid, always told me that I sound like Shakira, and he loves Shakira. I love Shakira. So, it's like, yay, love it. Amazing. But, now years later, I'm like, oh, that's because of tongue tension. And obviously, it's not always a bad thing, right? Sometimes it helps us get that signature sound. Other times, getting that little bit of that retraction, can really add a cool flavor to a note that you're singing. So it's not always a bad thing. But we do want to make sure that we are aware of what it is that we're doing and that it's not keeping us from reaching certain notes. So again, it's all about awareness, right? So, okay. With tongue tension, those are the audible cues if you kind of like sound like Shakira or Kermit the Frog. Another thing, like visually, you can only really see it if you open your mouth a lot. You can see sometimes how the tip of your tongue is not touching the inside of your bottom teeth. It's retracted, right? So it's just kind of like pulling back into your throat, essentially. So that retraction is what we kind of refer to as tongue tension. So, just looking at your mouth when you're singing, and I, for example, right? I want to make sure that the tip of my tongue stays behind my bottom teeth. And I, for example, okay? You can also look at the back of your of your mouth as well. The tongue back there, is it pushing down a lot or not? But that's not really that great of an indicator for tongue tension, because sometimes we're just trying to make more space back there, and that's kind of like, that's a good thing. It's helping us, so it's not always a bad thing to create more space back here and get the tongue out of the way a little bit. Also, if you watch like certain singers sing, and like especially like high belt notes, you can almost see how they're like kind of pushing out the tongue out of their mouth, and you're like, why are they doing that? Is because of that. It's because they need to create the space and they want to make sure that their tongue is not retracting, right? So anyways, those are visual cues. Feeling wise, take your thumb, push it underneath your chin, and just sing, and I, or whatever it is that you want to sing. And feel with your thumb underneath here, are you feeling anything? Is there something pushing down? Is it nice and soft? What's happening? And if it's pushing down a lot, that will be tongue tension, right? That's usually tongue retraction, tongue tension. So what you want to do, this is now getting into releasing tongue tension. The first thing you can do is just take your thumb and push it underneath your chin. So this is behind your bone, right? Your chin bone. Right underneath your chin, not on your throat, right? Like don't push into your throat, but just underneath, into your double chin, right? This part right here. Yay! Push into your double chin. and yeah, just dig in as hard as you can. Dig in, baby. And feel, is that tongue really pushing down or not? Or you can also gently push that tongue forward to make sure it's not retracting. And ooh, that was nice. I don't know if you heard a difference. It felt really quite nice. Just getting that tongue out of the way there a little bit. So that's one thing you can do as you're practicing in a song. What you can do outside of songs with your tongue is we can talk about 3 different things. We can talk about the gentle tongue bite. We're going to talk about using a paper towel or a skewer. So let's start with the tongue bite. Basically, literally, as the name says, you just push your tongue out of your mouth, or like, yeah, I guess you have to push it out a little bit, but push it out of your mouth, gently bite on it. When you're doing this, make sure that your tongue is flat and round, not thick and pointy. So if you're watching the video, here's what it looks like done the right way. Here's what it looks like done the wrong way. Okay? You can feel into your tongue. Does the tongue feel relaxed? Yes or no? A pointy tongue is not a relaxed tongue, okay? So just push it out as far as feels comfortable. For some people, that's quite a bit. For others, that's not that much. Just do whatever's comfortable for you, okay? And just bite on your tongue, obviously gently. Don't hurt yourself. And sing whatever it is you want to sing. That could be a scale like, for example, or sing the actual song with that tongue bite. It's your choice what you want to do. It really doesn't matter. But just feeling into your tongue there. And what you want to pay attention to is, do you feel any sort of twitching, any sort of movement in your tongue? When we're biting on the tongue like this, we can really feel it if there's some sort of movement happening. And ideally, what we want to shoot for here is no movement. We don't want to feel anything in the tongue. We want it to be nice and relaxed. I recommend that you go through your entire range to see, does your tongue start twitching more in the high notes than in the low notes, or maybe vice versa. Just pay attention to where is your tongue starting to move. If we are not actively forming words, there is no reason for your tongue to move. So again, we want to keep it still, not moving, okay? Then moving on to a paper towel. So grab a paper towel, please not tissues or toilet paper, because that will dissolve on your tongue. So take a piece of paper towel. This is plenty big. This is, I don't know, the size of my hand, which my hand is very small. It doesn't have to be big. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the tongue through the paper towel. So let me just demonstrate it so you can see it. But you want to pinch the sides of your tongue through the paper towel on top and on the bottom, basically like sandwiching your tongue in between the paper towel, okay? You want to grab with both hands on the side of the tongue and then pull it out of your mouth as much, again, as feels okay. If you're feeling a lot of pulling underneath your tongue, you can curl the tongue down a little bit. So you're basically like not just pulling it straight down, but you're kind of like, pushing the bottom of your tongue back into your mouth and pulling the top of your tongue out of your mouth. That kind of curling down. Anyways, let me demonstrate. So both hands is important. And that's it. And then you just stay there and you breathe. Try to relax your lips and your jaw while you're doing this. If you have a lot of jaw tension, you will actually feel the stretch even in your jaw too, because you're opening your mouth a lot when you're doing this stretch. So what we want to do here with this is pull the tongue out and stay in this stretch and just breathe. And relax your entire face, your lips, your jaw, your forehead, everything. And then stretch to one side and hold it there. And then to the other side and hold it there. This is a really, really, really great tongue stretch. So let's just do it together here. A side. The other side. Ooh, I'm definitely feeling it when I'm stretching out the sides, which is interesting. Usually I feel it more when I'm just pulling straight out than at the side of my tongue. So, okay. Feeling it there today, which again, every day is going to be a little bit different. This was super fast, right? You want to stay in these stretches for longer, but I just, for the sake of keeping this moving, I'm going to keep it moving, okay? But what you can also do while you're doing this stretch is sigh, like, or move through your range however you want. Let me grab another piece here just to demonstrate again. that was a weird scale. Let me try that again. Obviously doesn't sound pretty. You can also add a little bit of a tongue wiggle to this as well. So you're just, keeping loose wrists and you're just kind of like shaking that tongue loose a little bit like this. Or sing the song. So I'm just wiggling my tongue loose with my paper towel and my wrists. Make sure that when you're doing this wiggle thing, that the wiggle is in the wrists and not in your head. Because then you just kind of like shake your brain a little much. Might not feel very comfortable. So make sure that the wiggle is coming from your wrists, not necessarily your head. Keep your head still when you're doing this. It just feels a little bit more comfortable when you're doing it this way. Why does the wiggle work? Because movement is the enemy of tension. When we're wiggling the tongue loose like this, it can't like tense up. So adding that wiggle is a really great way to just shake things loose a little bit. So that's the paper towel. Then last but not least, like I promised, we have the skewer. Or you can also use a thin pen or pencil. It's just something that's thin and sturdy. We don't want it to bend. And all you got to do is just push that or kind of lock the skewer into place underneath your tongue. So I'm putting my tongue over the skewer and then I'm locking the tip of my tongue behind my bottom teeth to just kind of lock it into place. This gives my tongue a nice little lift in the back, giving it a little bit more of a stretch. Here's what this looks like. Same thing here as when we're using the paper towel. We want the face to be nice and relaxed. Keep your mouth open, drop your jaw and keep your lips and your forehead, everything relaxed. Just a really boring face. Boring face is one of my favorite things anyways. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But relax all of those muscles in your face. So like I said, this gives you a nice lift in the back. The cool thing about this skewer is that it gives you a visual cue of where your tongue is starting to tense up more when you are singing. Because if your tongue is getting really tense, it wants to retract. And when it retracts, you drop the skewer and it just falls out of your mouth. So if you're struggling with tongue tension, this is a great way to visualize it. Where do you have the tension? You might not have it, in the lower notes, in just the verse. Right? So that might be good there, but then when you get to the chorus, and I, up there, you might drop the skewer because it's okay, hold on, now my tongue is trying to retract. So this gives you such a great visual for your tongue tension. Where is it more dominant? Where are you fine with it? Okay, so focus on just keeping that skewer underneath your tongue and lock it into place there. The bigger the object that you're putting underneath your tongue, the harder this gets. So I like using these skewers. Pay attention to, just look in the mirror and look at your tongue. Do you see any sort of twitching or anything? Again, the goal is to keep the tongue completely still and relaxed. Even on your inhalation, this is important. A lot of times what happens is when we breathe in, we already create tension. And when we inhale with tension, guess what's going to happen on our exhalation? There's going to be even more tension. So we don't want to inhale with tension, obviously. So please pay attention to what is your tongue doing and your neck as well when you are inhaling. So when you're having the skewer underneath your tongue, look at your tongue. Is it moving? Is it twitching even just on your inhalation as you are breathing in Or same with when you're holding it with a paper towel. Does it want to retract on your inhalation or not? So don't just focus on your tongue when you are making sound, but also when you are just breathing in, because you just might have a lot of tension when you're inhaling, which is going to keep you feeling tense and tight when you're exhaling, aka when you are making sound then as well. Okay, so that's your tongue. Wait, that's not last. We have two more. We have your neck still and your face. So with your neck muscles go from, let me go on this side, go from behind your ear to the front of your collarbone down here. So they run diagonally on the side of your neck. So with these muscles, couple things we can do. We can either just take our hands and like our fingers and hold down these neck muscles as we are singing. So I'm just trying to find, okay, where are these muscles? Okay, I can feel them. They're going down the side of my neck here. So somewhere halfway down my neck, I'm gonna go and just push on these muscles. So I'm kind of like pushing back onto like my neck. I'm pushing back onto it and slightly down maybe as well, so that, you know, I can relax these muscles a little bit better. You can also literally grab these muscles with your thumb and index finger and massage them like this. Ooh, that feels kind of weird. I love it though. So you can even do this as you're singing or just to prepare for singing. So I'm actually, if I'm doing this right now, I can feel the tension on the backside of my skull, where like the muscle kind of like attaches, right? Like right behind my ear, right there. I feel the tension there as well, mostly on my right side, a little bit on my left side. So, okay, cool. I'm now aware of this. I wasn't aware of that before. So I would just go in and massage here a little bit. Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, would massage here a little bit before, you know, singing or anything like that. But yeah, just like underneath, right, like here by my skull, right behind my ears, where I'm feeling this too. Oh my goodness. I need to massage here more frequently. But anyways, so you can grab your muscles like this, or just hold down your muscles, or my current favorite is looking side to side and just kind of like shaking the notes loose and shaking my head loose. Remember how I said that movement is the enemy of tension when we added that tongue wiggle with the paper towel? It's the same thing here for your neck as well. If we keep those muscles moving when we shake our head no, then that keeps them from getting all tight and tense. So when I'm singing, I'm literally just shaking my head no. You can also like get your shoulders involved a little bit as well. Just like whatever kind of movement feels good to you. Like a little bit of a, you know, like those bobbleheads that people sometimes have in a car. That can work as well. Just kind of like, ooh, I'm keeping everything nice and loose. Oh, that was actually really quite nice. So yeah, you know, you can just kind of like shake things loose. Make sure though that you're not like looking up too much. That can sometimes make things a little bit more difficult. And so actually that's an indicator for neck tension. We didn't talk about that. But you know, with neck tension, a good indicator, a visual cue would be like reaching for notes, either up or forward with your chin. So make sure that you keep your head aligned with your spine, and you're not like, you know, again, like looking forward, like looking up, or looking like pushing your head forward. Just keep it nice and in line. That would be like a nice little visual cue. You can also look at your neck. That's another visual cue where these muscles tend to just kind of like pop out and veins popping out and all that. For some people, it looks like they have a lot of neck tension, but they don't have any. It just really kind of depends on the person. But usually if it looks like you have neck tension, there might be some neck tension there, okay? So neck tension is mostly just a visual cue that you can pay attention to. And then other than that, it's just like do these things like the shaking the head or holding the muscles or massaging the muscles, or even a pendulum swing. You can do a pendulum swing as well. Just like looking side to side, but like dropping your chin down slightly when you move from side to side, right? Again, that's the movement that's going to keep you from over tensing these neck muscles. So those things are going to help you identify, is there neck tension, yes or no? Yes would mean it did in fact get easier to sing while I was doing this stuff. No would be, it didn't change anything. So you probably don't have a lot of neck tension and the tension is somewhere else. Okay. So that's your neck. Then last but not least, now I can say that, we got to look at your face, your pretty little face. I have a ton of facial tension. My eyebrows love going wild when I'm singing, and so do a lot of people's eyebrows. And it's like, what do your eyebrows have to do with singing? Well, they're not going to help you get those notes out more easily. How we want to use our eyebrows when we sing is to express ourselves, is to showcase emotions, and not to help us reach certain notes, because guess what? They're not going to do that. This is just another form of tension. And so the easiest thing you can do is literally just take the palm of your hand and put it on your forehead and keep it there while you're singing. And see, do you feel any like sort of wrinkling happening, like any sort of movement happening underneath the palm of your hand, or is it staying still? Oh, that one was so nice. I don't know if you heard that, but ooh, that felt good. But anyways, yeah, so just keeping my eyebrows still just helps me relax more and not feel like, ooh, here's a difficult note, right? Because your eyebrows are just a dead giveaway that you are afraid of the note. And we're going to talk about mental tension here in just a second. But that's one thing you can do. Just put the palm of your hand on your forehead. Coach Bree from our team actually said that one of her voice teachers, when she first started singing, made her take a piece of tape and put that on her forehead, so you don't have to use your hands, and you can then feel it. If your eyebrows start moving and you have a piece of tape on your forehead, you can actually feel that. And so again, it's all about awareness in this case here. We put the hand here to feel, are the eyebrows moving, yes or no? Or we put a piece of tape here on the forehead to feel if the eyebrows are moving or not. So it's all about awareness when it comes to your eyebrows. And then just your mouth shape, your lips, be mindful of how you're using your lips. For certain vowels and certain notes, it's great to get a little bit more of a spread, like a ah sound. For others, we don't want to do that too much. So it just is a case by case situation there as far as what we're doing with our lips. But again, just be mindful of your mouth shape. We don't want to go too spready, like, that's very spready compared to, it's more elongated. And again, it really depends on what it is you're doing, what the words are you're singing, what the notes are you're singing. So this is a case-by-case situation here. A visual that I like for this is almost thinking like I am singing to an X on the wall in front of me, or right now I'm looking at the camera, so I'm like just sending all of my sound straight into that camera rather than painting the entire room with my sound. Don't worry, everyone in the room is going to be able to hear you. It doesn't change your volume or anything like that, but it goes from just a really a really spread sound to a more focused sound. And usually that more focused sound helps us release tension and hit the notes with a little bit less effort than with a spread kind of sound. Okay, so yeah, eyebrows and your lips, be mindful of that as well. So that's your jaw, your tongue, your neck, your face. And we got to talk about mental tension, because guess what? That affects your voice so much, probably more than anything else that you are doing in your singing. I always say that mental tension translates into physical tension. And that is so true, and is accurate for almost every single singer out there. Mental tension, what do I mean by that? Well, those are the things that you tell yourself that are sabotaging your experience. Basically, things like, oh my God, here comes the high note. I am scared. What if I crack? I'm afraid of this high note, or whatever it is that you're afraid of, right? Things like that. Or saying like, oh my God, I'm going to sound terrible anyways, or I don't like the sound of my voice, or people are not going to like my voice, or whatever negative thing you are telling yourself about your voice or about yourself, that's mental tension. And if we approach singing with that level of fear or anxiety or worry, that is literally going to translate into physical tension. So you can do all of the neck shaking and massaging and tongue pulling and stretching and, whatever. Like, none of that stuff matters if there is a lot of mental tension, if there's a lot of doubt, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear around singing. I always say, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, you're going to crack on the note. Or maybe, it feels a little scratchy and you're like, that wasn't right, and you stop. Okay, life goes on. The world keeps spinning. We get to try again. This is not a life or death situation. This is really, like, singing is not a life or death situation. It's really just an exploration. So if we can look at singing more from like an exploring standpoint and not judging standpoint, it first of all becomes a whole lot more fun, and second of all, it becomes a lot easier because we don't have all of this mental tension that does translate into physical tension. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Nice thoughts, happy thoughts. Okay, and the last thing I want to mention as well is feel over sound. I know as singers, we want to sound good when we sing. After all, that's what your audience is going to hear. They're going to hear what you sound like. They don't know what you feel like when you sing, so they don't really care about how you feel when you sing. They care about what you sound like because that's what influences their experience. Of course, we want to sound good. But we don't want to sound good at the expense of feeling good, because I promise you, when singing feels good and effortless, you're going to sound even better. I'm not saying that you can't sound good, even though, it feels a little tight. You can still sound good, but I'm telling you, you sound just 5-10% or a lot more than that better when it feels free and effortless when you're hitting these notes. And like I said, releasing tension is that first step to singing effortlessly. So feel over sound for the next couple of weeks, maybe even for the next couple of months. Instead of focusing on what you sound like when you sing, focus on what singing feels like and make feeling good a priority over sounding good. Of course, that doesn't mean that we want to just start singing, and and sing out everything in head voice because that feels easy and good. No, that's not the goal here, right? I still want you to be able to belt, but we want to prioritize how that belt feels rather than what it sounds like. Okay? Can we come to that agreement here? Pinky promise that we're going to pay attention to what singing feels like instead of sounds like? Yeah? Can we do that? Please? Thank you. Thank you. I do want to finish this episode with a fun little exercise, a little pop song exercise. Valerie by Amy Winehouse is the song that I picked for this. It's a warm-up, and it's really great to help you, pay attention to what singing feels like because it's not overly complicated. So when you're going through this exercise here in the next minute, make sure that you're prioritizing the feel rather than what you sound like. And if you're feeling any sort of tension creep in anywhere, start applying all these things that we just went through to release the tension. Okay? Alrighty, let's do the exercise together. La la la, oh Valerie. Hey, hey, come on over. La la la, oh Valerie. Hey, hey, come on over. Come on over. La la la.
keep it nice and light here. Okay, we're just warming up. You don't need to push or anything. Keep it light.
Come on over. La la la. Oh, Valerie. Come on over. La la la. Oh, Valerie.
Now feel the bounce here. Nice. No squeezing, just bouncing.
La la la. Oh, Valerie. Come on over. La la la. Oh, Valerie. Come on over.
Keep the jaw still here.
La la la. Oh,
Good. Nice.
Valerie. Come on over. Okay, awesome. I just want to give you one last thing on the road, and that is slow down to speed up. Whenever you start feeling tension creep in, don't just keep going. Pause the track, try again. Or, pause the exercise and try again. And stay there until you were able to resolve the issue. So yes, we are slowing down. We're, spending more time in each little part that we are feeling tension creep in, or whatever it is we're experiencing. That applies to anything, not just tension. But we want to slow down the process in order to speed up, in order to see results more quickly. Because I promise you, if we take that extra minute or two, or even extra 5 minutes to really focus on that part that's causing us some issue, we can see results quicker in the end. So slow down to speed up for releasing tension or for anything in your singing. All right, that is it about tension. Thank you so much for making it to the end. If you have any requests for certain topics that you would like us to discuss here on this show, please send us a DM on Instagram at VoxTape Studios or an email at support@voxtapestudios.com, and we'll try our best to, create the content that you are requesting. Alrighty, that's it for today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.